Hey everyone, Austin here again with another Let's Play video. As you can see, it's going to be Castlevania III Dracula's Curse for the NES. This is a game I've actually covered multiple times on my channel over the last several years. Most recently with a full playthrough of the Japanese version of this game about a year and a half ago as of recording this one. My original Let's Play of this game, Dracula's Curse, specifically the US version, was back in 2013, which was a long time ago at this point. And yeah, some of you guys know I'm going through my back catalog and redoing some of my old Let's Plays one by one, slowly but surely. And, you know, I've been playing this game again recently on Twitch, and I figured, you know, might as well go ahead and re-record this one while I'm at it, while I'm fresh. And, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through the game, very similar to my 2013 Let's Play, and probably take the same route. We'll probably take the Syfa route. We'll play as Syfa and Trevor, and we'll beat the game that way. And then, you know, I might even try to tackle the second loop again, and we'll see if we can actually finish that in a live Let's Play. The second loop is very challenging, but I'll talk more about that as we get to it. So we're going to go ahead and just, I guess, let this credits spiel roll out. As usual, though, before we start, I'm going to give a big shout out to my current Patreon backers. So all you guys backing this channel through Patreon, thanks for your continued support. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to also flash by the live stream Super Chatters. I stream on Friday nights here on YouTube, and the Super Chatters are basically live direct donations through the live stream. So thank you guys for your patronage as well. It definitely goes a long way on this channel. It definitely helps me out a lot. Trust me when I say it definitely helps me out a lot. So that's the intro. Let's go ahead and hit start. You've actually got a trick you can do here. If you hold down B and press start, you can actually go to a sound test menu, which is pretty cool. So sometimes if I'm in my game room here and I'm just doing stuff like getting cleaned up or editing, you know, some stuff in Photoshop or something, I'll just turn on the TV and bust out this sound test menu and just kind of run through this, which is kind of cool. So but yeah, let's go ahead and go to opening, which is the very beginning. Now there's actually a code you can do if you want 10 lives. You can type HELP space ME, so help me. That'll actually give you 10 lives, but we're not going to actually do that. So let's go ahead and just clear that out, and what we'll do is let's play. And perfect. Awesome. So yeah, we're basically going to start off at the very beginning of the game. You start off as Trevor, you know, the classic whip-wielding Belmont. And we're going to actually play as him for most of the game. I've become very comfortable with playing as Trevor, especially once you get his sub-weapons maxed out. So for those of you guys that are unfamiliar with the Castlevania series, which I'm sure it is very few of you guys watching this channel, because I do a lot of Castlevania in this channel. I'm sure a lot of you guys are here for the Castlevania. But in case you're brand new to it, you basically just jump by pressing A, you attack by pressing B, and then you've got sub-weapons which utilize hearts. You can activate those by pressing up and B, up and attack. The select button will eventually come in handy later on. It allows me to switch my character. And unfortunately, I don't have a character to switch out to just yet, but one of the awesome things about Castlevania III is that you have multiple different characters you can find throughout the course of the game. You've got Grant, who is an acrobatic type character. He can climb on walls, and he can control his jump mid-jump, which is very nice. You've got Alucard, the Alucard, which can actually turn into a bat and fly, and he's also got a spread shot, which can be very handy at certain parts of the game. And then you've got Syfa, the Syfa, who appears in later Castlevania games, particularly the Metroidvania series, especially on the Nintendo DS. So, lots of familiar characters here that you can get, and they all have, you know, uses, some better than others. My favorite character is probably Grant, because he's just so nimble, and he's fun to play with. So with Grant, I could actually jump over this platform, or this wall up top, and just not even have to fall down here. There's just lots of really cool things you can do with Grant that you can't do with other characters. So yeah, but we're gonna take the Syfa route. So we're not gonna go to the clock tower. We're not gonna go to the infamous vertical crawling section that you have to go to if you play as Alucard. These guys right here, you can either attack them or you can just jump over them if you're trying to speedrun or something like that. I have actually watched a few speedrunners play Castlevania 3. It's a really interesting game to watch being speedrun. There's lots of cool tricks you can try to do. Coming over here gives you a wall meat. And there's a couple of hunchbacks that just bounce around like idiots here, so... I know where most of the enemies are in this game. I'm pretty comfortable with this game. So we shouldn't really have too much of a difficult time on this first loop, at least in particular. And I'll just sort of hopefully just wreck through things without too much trouble. We'll see. And this is our first boss fight. So what I like to do here is try to attack him with holy water and then attack him in the face like that. You know what's interesting? If you play the Japanese version of the game, his hitbox doesn't go up that high, so you can't actually whack him in the face in the Japanese version. So there's a lot of people out there that have mentioned they prefer the Japanese version. I actually prefer the North American version. Now the Japanese version has an absolute kick-ass soundtrack. It is really, really awesome with that sound chip. But there's been many gameplay tweaks to the North American version that makes it a much more satisfying gameplay experience for me, personally. So things like being able to whack that first boss in the head is really, really important to me. There's a lot of other like small tweaks like that throughout the course of the game that just makes it more satisfying for me overall. Both games are fantastic, but I do definitely prefer the North American one over the Japanese one. Especially when it comes to looping the game. The second loop in the Japanese one is way easier than the second loop is in the North American one. So, you know, for someone like me, who likes challenge, you know, the North American one is definitely the way to go. Alright, so one of the mechanics of the Castlevania series is getting the Roman numeral icon. So normally you can only throw out your sub-weapons one at a time. However, with the Roman numerals, you can actually throw them up to 3 times depending on the Roman numeral that you have. So you can see I've got the blue Roman numeral 3, which means I can throw up to 3 on screen at once. And with the holy water is insanely, insanely useful. That was actually a pretty good owl section, believe it or not. Normally, if I try to go through that with the holy water, I might miss an owl, and the owls will dive bomb you. If they go past you, they always come back and they dive bomb you, and it's very difficult to avoid them. Sometimes you can get hit and get knocked into the water, so your characters cannot swim in this game, unfortunately. And so yeah, knockback in this game can definitely be a problem if you're near endless pits or water sources. And so these are bone pillars right here. What I like to do is try to just use holy water on them. If I don't have holy water, what I do is I time their projectiles. Their projectiles always come out at the same rate, and in Castlevania 3, it's always 3 at a time. So I just make sure that I whip at the same time as the fireballs, and your whip will actually counter the fireballs and destroy them for you. So one of the great things about Castlevania 3 is you do have multiple routes you can take. And this top route here is where we're going to get Syfa. And we're going to actually use Syfa later on in the game to defeat the Doppleganger boss. The Doppleganger boss is probably the worst boss in the game. Now, there's a couple ways you can defeat the Doppelganger boss. You can try to play it normally, but there's also a character swap mechanic that you can try to abuse as well. But with Syfa, you can also sort of trick the Doppelganger boss into a corner, and it'll just sit there acting like an idiot and not ever come after you. You can just basically snipe it from a distance. And that's the trick I'm probably going to be using in this one. So if you're having problems with this game, try to beat the game with Syfa. Try to get Syfa and use this trick I'm going to show you later on. So checkpoints in this game operate via these doors. Every time you pass through a door like this, you get to a new checkpoint. So if I die, we're basically going to start back here. And this is our last section up until the boss fight. And you gotta watch out for these spiders. These guys can actually be quite a pain. They shoot little mini spiders at you at angles. Fortunately, at the boss fight, there's actually another wall meat that I can pick up in case I lose some health. But I actually kind of want to save that wall meat, because there's a trick I'm going to show you. If you've got the holy water, you can actually kill the boss much faster. You'll probably have to tank and take some hits. Bam, just like that. Let's try to do it again. And that's it. And then here's the wall meat right there, and I just picked it up. So if you get that just right, you can actually kill that boss insanely fast with holy water. Now you can also do it on the right-hand side as well, actually, but it's easier on the left-hand side because it gives him more room to walk, and so you're more likely to do, you know, extra hits of damage. And you always want to hit A here to say take him with you. And Syfa is actually not a him, he is a she. That doesn't make any sense, but Syfa is a female. And you find out about that at the end of the game. Basically, her cloak comes off, revealing nice long flowy hair. Trevor, I think, gives her a hug or something like that. And Syfa, in later Castlevania games, appears as a female. It's obvious it's a female. So that was one of those things that was just kind of novel back in the day. It was kind of like, you know, when you unveil Samus for the first time and realize that Samus is not a dude. Samus is actually a female. And back in the mid-'80s and late 80s, or 1990, say, when this game came out, that was still something you didn't see all that often. There weren't a ton of female protagonists in video games. So it was always nice to see some switch-ups like that. So this is where we start getting these ghost guys appearing. I always forget their names, but they can be a little tricky to deal with. We're going to also switch up, and I'm going to show you Syfa real quick, because I want to get a couple of power-ups with Syfa, just to make sure she's got something. The first one is this power-up, which is basically this flame. It's very, very powerful. It's one of the most powerful attacks in the game. And it'll kill a lot of enemies in one hit, like so. And Syfa has a very, like, dinky weapon. She's just got this, this sort of fencing sword-looking thing. Doesn't do a whole lot of damage, unfortunately. But the good thing about it is that the hitbox is pretty decent on it. It'll actually hit a little bit above or below your sword. And she can also attack really fast. So even though she doesn't dish out the damage as much as, like, Trevor's whip, she attacks faster, so you'll actually kill enemies in about the same amount of time with her. You just have to hit them about 2 or 3 times as many times. And it looks like we already got what I needed with Syfa, so we're going to go ahead and switch back off to Trevor, because I want to use his holy water on this boss coming up here, which is Medusa. Oops. Unfortunately, okay, I don't have the, I don't have wall meats, unfortunately. It was actually on the previous screen, I believe. And we're just going to take this part nice and slow. So one of the cool things about these floating platforms is that they actually use, or they're locked to the same color palette as your characters. So depending on the character you're playing as, these platforms will actually be different colors, which is kind of cool. So if you're used to playing through the game with a very specific character, and then you go and you switch out to Syfa or Alucard on a second loop or something, you'll notice that the colors on those platforms change, and it's kind of a nice touch. I know it's a hardware limitation thing, but it's still interesting to see nonetheless, and it kind of helps mix things up in the game. So we're just going to use our holy water here. So in this Medusa fight, you want to duck. She does this, like, siren type attack thing that will, you know, turn you into stone for a short period of time. And you just want to duck that if you can. And Medusa will also basically use a bow and arrow kind of attack. Notice with the holy water, I can actually use it, and the hitbox of it is just large enough to where it'll go up above the floor, and it'll actually destroy enemies above, which is kind of nice. So kind of a cool trick to know that you can do with the holy water. And with these guys, it's great just using Trevor because his whip is so long, you can just get up to him, and your whip's reach is longer than their sword's reach is. You can also try using like the daggers, or the holy water, or the cross boomerang, or the axe, but you know, with Trevor, you don't really need those. You can just get up to him and whip, as long as you got your fully powered up whip. Okay, so this is gonna be our last checkpoint, and then we're going to be at the bosses. So this part could be kind of tricky because you got some birds to deal with, and the birds are probably some of the worst enemies in the game. And that was actually bad. Ooh, I got lucky there. I was worried that bird that went off the far left side of the screen was going to come back. Fortunately, he didn't. Ooh, good stuff. Good deal. And if I was Grant, I could actually go over that top part of the screen. But I am not Grant. And there's an axe right there, and that's just going to be a heart. Normally that would be a Roman numeral icon, but since I'm already maxed out on the Roman numerals, it is not. But yeah, with Grant, if you picked Grant and then came this route, you could just skip that whole bottom screen. It's one of the really fun things with Grant. And these are two mummies. I'm basically just going to attack him like this. Let's try to wreck him with holy water. And what I'm going to do is see if I can... And my monitor up top just went out for some reason. I have 3 monitors set up and it keeps cutting out. It's actually done it once, and I was just playing on the bottom through my OBS software. And we're just going to hit him normally. And it's something that my monitor has been doing over the last, few days. I don't know why it's been doing that. Hopefully it doesn't really affect me too much more throughout the course of this playthrough. It's really, really aggravating. I'm gonna have to try swapping around some cables, try swapping out HDMI cables and things like that. In worst case scenario, I might have to go buy a new monitor. Unfortunately, see, I actually have a separate professional video monitor in here as well, a Sony PVM. But unfortunately, I'm using the retro USB AVS, and it's HDMI only, and my PVM doesn't have HDMI. So if this was anything else I was recording with, analog signals, I would be able to just, view the game on the PVM, but that is not the case here, unfortunately. So these bone pillars, like I said, they basically shoot out 3 projectiles at basically the same rhythm every single time. And that's where it really comes into effect, or I should say now is where it really comes into effect. You notice I'm trying to save my holy water too. What I should actually do is switch up with Syfa, because Syfa will have some better long-range projectile attacks. But I really want to save my holy water for the boss fight. I mean, it's not really, necessary. I don't need the holy water for this boss fight, but it would be nice to take it to the boss, because it'll just, I'll be able to mow down the boss without question. And it's good for these axe armor knights as well. But I definitely want as many hearts as I can get as well, because these upcoming sections can be tough if you don't have hearts. Hearts are your ammunition. And there's going to actually be a special power up here which might be helpful. Which is why I wanted to switch over to Syfa. Yeah, this is the freeze power-up. This lets you freeze enemies and then whack them in one hit. That's one of the many reasons why Syfa can be really handy in this game. Alright, so this is a section where the whole screen just keeps shifting down below. If you go below the bottom of the screen, you die instantly. And unfortunately, I accidentally grabbed this book. The enemy dropped it. I wasn't expecting that. There's probably gonna be another enemy right here. Yep. And this is it. This is the last part. So no more threat. As long as we're up here, there's no threat. So back in the day when I was first playing this game, this was one of the first levels that really gave me trouble in this game. And you'll see what I mean in just a few moments. There's a couple of parts coming up here which are really, really challenging. And this type of section is actually repeated later on in the game, towards the end of the game. And what I want to do is, I don't think I showed this on my previous Let's Play. Maybe I did, I don't remember. It was like 5 years ago. What you can do is jump right here to make this platform flip, and then jump on this one to go below it. Nice, we got the ball. That's good, actually. And this is an extra life. Now, if you tried to jump over here normally, before flipping that other platform, you would get hit by the spikes, and you would, get hurt significantly. The spikes do a lot of damage in this game. But yeah, this ball power-up is really good. It's a three-way spread shot that has slight homing capabilities, or homing properties. And it's going to come in handy for this next section coming up. So we're actually, you know, making pretty good progress here. There we go, and this is going to be a book right here, so we don't want that. The book is great because it's very, very powerful, but the ball is actually better for this part. Like, look at all these enemies here. And I can literally just hold down the B button and hold up, and Syfa will constantly use this ball, as long as I've got ammo. So it's another mechanic I haven't really talked about. If you're on stairs, you can just hold down the B button, then you'll attack as fast as possible. And you can use that mechanic to your advantage here. And the great thing about this ball power-up is it only uses up one heart. So I've got a lot of ammunition left over. So what I used to do back in the day is I would try to go through this section without killing these guys. I never really thought to kill them. But trust me when I say you wanna spend your time and kill them, otherwise you're gonna lose a lot of life. And we're gonna go ahead and just actually keep this ball power up. I'm gonna wait until these birds are dead. And now we're gonna go ahead and switch over, because I've got the holy water at 3 times. Alright, good deal. Good fight. And there was some wall meat there in case I needed it. Always good to know where the wall meat is in this game, because what if you get here and you only have a quarter of your health bar left? Well, the wall meat will give you a little bit of peace of mind. Which, peace of mind can go a long way in Castlevania III, trust me when I say that. Castlevania III is not an easy Castlevania game. But when you know what you're doing, you can make it look easy. So Syfa, again, the freeze attack actually works really well in this part because it'll freeze the water here, which will stop any enemy dead in their tracks. Oops, took a hit. That's not good. Not a good start. But what I'm going to do is just try to stick with my holy water, and I want to keep the ball power up that Syfa has, because I think it'll be more useful for later parts of the level where you have to do a lot of hand-to-hand combat. I'm gonna attack this guy once and use the holy water, just like so. So, not too bad so far, not too bad. It's this next screen that can be really, really challenging. But what I'm gonna do is switch over from Trevor to Syfa after I kill these guys. One, two, 1, 2, 3, just like so. And then 1 holy water, just like that. Alright, gonna switch over to Syfa, and we're gonna use the ball attack. So you'll notice that Syfa doesn't get Roman numerals, because her attacks are so powerful, she doesn't need the boost. That's the freeze attack right there. There we go. Alright, good stuff. And let's see what this is. I'm just kind of curious. I think it's a heart. Yeah, I just wasn't sure. And see how you can just use Syfa from a distance. If you've got the homing balls, then just take advantage of them. I mean, you can try to play a little more risky with Trevor, but if you've got this attack, you might as well use it. Now, if I had the freeze attack, it wouldn't be as useful. I'd have to get close to the enemies. I'd put myself in danger more, basically. And there's gonna be some wall meat up here. And we're gonna actually save this power up for the boss fight, too. A lot of times what I do is I switch over to Trevor and get the, I get the axe. There's an axe you can pick up. And we don't want that. These are gonna start falling down like so. And more men start to pop up like this. Oh no, I didn't want that. That's okay. See, that's gonna put a dent in my strategy. These guys are really, really tricky sometimes. But if you time your flame attack just right, you can dish out the damage really, really quickly. Ooh, we got lucky there. So, interestingly, the Japanese version of this game, these guys are in a way actually tougher, because their fire will actually home in on you, which is very, very interesting. Alright, good, got him. Whew. Okay, oh, never mind. I was gonna switch back over to Trevor, but that was a fast transition. But yeah, in the Japanese version of Castlevania III, those guys actually, their fire locks onto you, and it will go diagonally. So they can actually be harder in that version. It's one of the very few instances of the game where things are actually more difficult in the Japanese version. Generally speaking, things are easier in the Japanese version across the board, except for that boss. And right here, I'm going to freeze this guy just to make life a little bit easier. And we just freeze these guys, and we'll freeze him too. You can see how your freeze attack can really come in handy. There's a big heart. So the big hearts give you 5 hearts. The little hearts only give you 1 heart, in case you haven't figured that out yet. I always forget to explain that mechanic whenever I do Castlevania Let's Plays. I always forget that it's... Not everything is as obvious to everyone in Castlevania as it is to me, because I play a lot of Castlevania, and a lot of people don't play a lot of Castlevania. So I'm gonna go ahead and just try to keep the freeze attack here. I think there's gonna be a book. Yeah, there's a book right there. Let's see if we can freeze all these guys at once. Good. And there's our doorway, which is a checkpoint. One, two, three. If I wanted to, I could just freeze him, but, you know, with Syfa, I can really get a rhythm down with her attack. 1, 2, 3. Oops. Missed it. And then just freeze. Because that's a dangerous one right there. You gotta watch out for those endless pits. You gotta think about that when you're trying to attack these guys. When I play Castlevania games, I'm always looking at my environments around me. And that is a book. We don't really want that. And there's going to be some wall meat right here. Let's go ahead and take advantage of that and get up these stairs. Now I've still got Trevor, I've still got the holy water, assuming that we don't mess up this jump here. This jump coming up is one of the tightest jumps in the game. No, actually it is the tightest jump in the game. And Castlevania III has a few of those types of jumps. It's this one right here. You want to be mostly off the edge when you make your jump, otherwise you'll probably miss that. It's a very, very devious jump, and Castlevania III has a couple of jumps in the game like that that are just very, very devious. Now, red skeletons usually come back infinitely, but with Syfa's freeze attack, you can actually kill them permanently. It's the only attack in the game that will kill those enemies for good. Now, the boomerang cross that you get with Trevor doesn't really appear that often in the game, but one of the times it does appear is right in this candle right here. And that's actually the ball attack for Syfa. I should have picked that up, actually. I wasn't paying attention. But it doesn't really matter, because I plan on using Trevor's holy water on the boss fight anyway, so let's go ahead and switch over. Actually, I should have stuck with Syfa, because there's another red skeleton down here I could just kill permanently. But it's okay. I don't think I'm gonna need to. And there's gonna be a hidden heart right here. Just like that. So we got a lot of hearts to deal with. So I think we're gonna be good here. And let me come over here and just use my holy... Ooh, it's not gonna work like that. And then we're gonna have another Cyclops right here. Just gonna try to attack him like this. Yeah, because it's a little difficult to do the holy water trick on this one. Let's see, if I picked up the ball power-up with Syfa, I would be able to just use that from safety. There we go. And the last boss is a big gargoyle-ish, dragon-like dude? I don't even know what you call him. We're just gonna use our holy water as much as we can. I like to get him over on the right-hand side. I just find it's easier to deal with him. And he's gonna throw out a three-way projectile, which is actually bigger than it is in the Japanese version of the game. They're actually bigger projectiles than the North American one. Another difference, actually, from the Japanese one is if you look at certain character sprites, they're actually drawn with a little more detail in the North American version, including that third form of that boss fight. But his three-way spread shot that does come out can be destroyed, very much like Dracula's projectiles, which I'll talk about later on. Try to get some extra points here. And there's going to be a dagger right there. I have a tendency of picking up that dagger by accident whenever I get to this level, so it's always good for me to just stop there and think about it. So very much like the first Castlevania game, if you combo enemies with a single special weapon or sub-weapon attack, you'll get extra bonus points, which is really good to know, because you do earn extra lives from points in this game. So if you're trying to one credit clear this game, or get through the game without continuing, especially if you're trying to do a second loop on the same game, it's good to know how many points you have and how close you are to an extra life. Money bags are just free points as well, but if it's too cumbersome to get them, I don't usually worry about them. Alright, good stuff so far. There's a 5-er. Basically a heart that just gives you 5. You notice how I'm using the ceiling trick with the holy water to let the holy water, you know, attack enemies, you know, on the next floor above. That way I can take out bigger enemies with ease. And I had a feeling I was going to get hit by that. That's not a big deal. As long as I don't take too much more damage, because I don't think there's any more wall meats until the very end. And this boss fight coming up is Death, and Death can be a little tricky, to say the least. Oh no, we took another hit. That's not good. And another hit. Okay, I've never really gotten hit by these blobs, so I don't know why it's starting now. Well, this is actually really bad. We're probably not going to defeat Death without taking damage. It's very, very difficult to do that. But in case you need the holy water, it is up here in one of these candles. Probably the one that just gave me 5 hearts. If you already have a sub-weapon and you hit a candle that normally drops that sub-weapon, it'll drop 5 hearts instead of the sub-weapon. Yeah, and unfortunately with Syfa, I can't just camp out on this one with the blue balls. See, there we go. So we're gonna go ahead and just switch off to Trevor and try to just wreck Death with holy water if we can. Hopefully it'll work out. It's the first form that I'm worried about, not the second form. Now I have done this without taking damage once, but it's rare, so. Really smooth run up to this point, I gotta say. So I'm pretty happy with that. And my screen just cut out on me again. So I'm pausing the game real quick. And it cut out on me again. I really wish it would stop doing that. And we're dead. So fortunately, you can get the holy water here again. But what I also kind of want to do is switch over to Syfa and get the ball projectile. There we go. I'm going to switch back over to Trevor. Yeah, I'm going to have to buy a new monitor, and that's not something I really want to shell out the money for. And the troubles you have to deal with recording and streaming, it can be very, very frustrating. Lots of technical difficulties that you never, ever really think about until they hit you, and they actually happen. Like monitors dying on you. So Death always has the same pattern. He basically goes center, right, center, etc. And I just died, and my monitor cut out at the exact same time. This is starting to really aggravate me, because it's doing it more frequently. It just did it again. Oh, we lost the signal completely, too. Okay, so I lost the balls from Syfa. I wonder if it's my system. Because we actually lost signal to the capture card as well, which is rare. gonna skip the holy water, stick with the cross this time. There we go. Okay, so I don't think the cross works on this form coming up. Yeah, it doesn't. So we're just gonna have to whip him. And I messed up. I totally messed up. That's awful. So he basically just does this pattern over and over again. He just loops from one side of the screen to the other. You can just walk under him and he gets high up on the screen, kind of like this. Just gonna let him come over again. Wow, and we died. I feel like I wouldn't be dying if my screen wasn't crapping out on me. Because that's very distracting. It takes me out of the experience. And, you know, when I get into the groove, it really kills that rhythm and flow I'm finding myself in. So, it didn't cut out again on that fight, fortunately, but that really bothers me still. Now my mind is elsewhere and is not on the game, and I can't focus. Let's just try to get the holy water again this time. And actually, what I think I'm going to do is just switch over to Syfa, and we'll try the ball projectile strategy. Or not. I wasn't expecting the book to appear. I was expecting it to appear at the end, but we'll still try to use it here anyway. Because, like I said, it's really powerful. It'll be interesting to see if it actually works on this form. I don't think it does. Oh, it does. Cool. Well, we'll just do that then. Alright, well, sorry for the deaths there. I wasn't expecting that. I know you guys like to see me die, but that's just really frustrating to me because I had a really smooth run. Probably one of my smoothest runs, actually, up to that point. I mean, I took very little damage overall over the course of the game up to this point. And then I just die back to back to back. So, very frustrating. What we're going to do is... What are we going to do? Let's switch back over to Trevor. But what we're going to do is switch back to Syfa at the very end of the stage. But for most of this level, we're just going to play with Trevor. And I'm probably going to switch up weapons as well. Just the holy water isn't going to be as useful in this level. Going to be a hidden heart right there. I actually see a lot of people play this level and they don't know that that heart is there. And it's one of those secrets that's right in front of you the entire time. Alright, so there's going to be an axe up here. We're going to go ahead and take that because it's going to help us on the next section. So right there. I'm going to go ahead and just jump on this platform, and then jump over this set of spikes, and then get up here, because there's going to be another heart. I'm gonna take my time here and just watch out for these gargoyles. These skeleton gargoyles. I'm gonna jump over here like so. And just skip these guys on the other side. Not worry about them. But we want the axe for this guy right here. And the thing that makes this level really tough is that you've got to constantly watch out for these gargoyles if you want to do this without taking any damage. It's all about taking your time. In this axe armor, you can just sit here, just hold down the B button. Even if he shoots low, your whip rhythm is faster than, you know, how fast they throw their axes. So you can just sit there, hold B, close your eyes, and you'll still kill him without taking a hit. So this part is actually tougher on the second loop because these guys turn into these knights with shields. Oops, I wasn't trying to... Why did he do that? I was pressing left. They turn into these knights with shields, and they walk much faster. And they'll actually attack you if you get really close to them as well. Well, it's one of those things that changes up in the second loop and makes the second loop a lot more challenging. So there's going to be a secret coming up here too that'll actually be a hidden one-up. And it's up here to the right, so you have to actually make a jump over there. So we're going to go ahead and do that, just like so. Bam, extra life. And trust me, on this stage, you could use it, because this is, you know, I'd say aside from Dracula's level, this is the toughest stage in the game. It's the stage that gives everyone a hard time, because it's a bit of an endurance run. The boss fight is a pain, and so what ends up happening is you end up continuing, and when you continue in Castlevania 3, you gotta do the whole stage over again. Oh, we still got hit by that? Really? It's okay, there's gonna be a wall meat up here. So when I did a Let's Play the Japanese version, I think I actually got hit by that bat and got knocked into the pit. I think it happened multiple times too, which was kind of embarrassing. So I'm glad that didn't happen again. And having the axe here actually works out pretty well too, because you can axe these birds. And the birds are a major pain in this game. And then we're going to switch over to Syfa to get the homing balls. But I'm going to try to take out these birds first. There we go. 3-hit combo, that's good. Alright, and let's jump over and then switch to Syfa. That way I can show you this this exploit for this boss. There it is. And there's gonna be there's gonna be another book at the end, so we don't want that book. Alright, so this part we have to make sure we don't jump, because these are all those rotating platforms. If you go up into the air and you land back down, they will rotate and you will probably fall and die. There's a hidden heart right there, so we're gonna just jump up to the left here, like so. And just milk our advantage like this. For some reason, Syfa down below just glitches out, and you can just take advantage of her. And there we go. So that is the easiest way for me to beat this boss, personally. There's also a trick you can do where you attack the boss once and then hit select to change your other character. The Doppleganger will change as well, and you can always get a free hit after they change, and then you'll just hit select to rotate back and just do that until the boss dies. We're gonna go ahead and just play this first section out with Syfa, because she's got the projectile attack, which is very handy. Gonna let that stopwatch just disappear. And I actually wanted to go over there because that would have been some hearts, which would have been good for this next part. As long as I keep this three-way shot, there's also the opportunity to earn another extra life, which is nice. But the stopwatch can be very useful as well, but I'm not going to use it. Alright, I'm just gonna sit up here and use the balls. There we go. Good. And the extra life is actually right up here. Got it. And this is why I wanted to use Syfa, because I can snipe that guy from a distance. It would actually be good to save this power-up for later as well. And I think I still have the axe with Trevor, which is actually really handy. So what we're going to do is switch back to Trevor. Maybe we can get a Roman numeral. And we've already got one. That's good. There's actually wall meat to the right, but I have full health, so I don't need it. Good thing about the axe is you can take that guy out from below. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and switch back over to Syfa, because there's some bats up here, and I think it's just easier to time your attack with Syfa. Notice how her attack just comes out much faster, and the bats always just die in one hit. So this part can be really tricky too, because there's no checkpoint coming up here. The checkpoint takes you all the way back to that section. Ooh, that was close. Well, I don't really need to explain it, but basically, normally this would be a checkpoint in the Japanese version. In the United States version, there is no checkpoint here. So if you die, you gotta go back to the previous checkpoint. And I'm not sure, it's like, do I want to use this? I think I'm gonna go ahead and get the book, actually. Because with Trevor, we just have the axe, and the axe is fine. But I think the book is better for certain parts. So a trick here you can use is actually coming back down. It resets the candles, so you can just collect as many hearts as you need. And so what I do whenever I get here is, I'm not speedrunning or anything, so I just try to collect as many hearts as I can, just to give myself greater flexibility. Because the last form, I like to use Trevor, and like to snipe him from a distance with the axe. And if I don't have enough hearts to use the axe, the last form is much more challenging. So there's a lot of simple tricks in Castlevania 3 you can use to just really help you defeat the game. And Dracula here, you want to sort of walk back a little bit so this fire pattern isn't as tight. And he basically makes other fire just spew up wherever you are in the screen. So this is why I wanted to use the flame with Syfa, because it's very, very powerful. We'll switch back over with Trevor, use the axe, because the other two faces are high up. I kind of want to be back at a distance for this part, because platforms are going to come up now. And we're just going to snipe this guy from a distance. You gotta watch out for the lasers that shoot out from his arms. And those lasers will pretty much go wherever you are in the screen, so I don't recommend being all the way over to the far right corner, because they'll shoot down at an arc or an angle that's very difficult to deal with. Alright, and that is loop 1. And so what we're going to go ahead and do is just let this ending roll out, and I'll go ahead and give loop 2 a try. We're already almost an hour in, so this is going to be quite a long Let's Play. Assuming I actually finish loop 2. I will try, because my previous Let's Play, I did not finish Loop 2. I tried it, and I failed. But I also tried alternate routes, which didn't help me, but I also wasn't well practiced on Loop 2. So we'll try it on this one, and we'll see what happens. If we can get Loop 2, that would be pretty awesome. Yeah, there's no way to skip through this either, so we'll have to just sit through it. Yeah, and you can see how Grant can actually hang on the walls, and that attack he's doing right there is possible in this game. So in the Japanese version of the game, Grant always has a projectile dagger that he throws. That's his primary weapon. In the North American version, they took that away, and they gave him just a hand-to-hand combat knife, basically. Which I actually prefer, because it adds, you know, a greater gameplay dynamic instead of just sniping everything from a distance. However, you can still get the throwing dagger with Grant in this one, and you could still throw it long range. It just uses up hearts. So instead of having a permanent long range dagger, it's an optional dagger in this one, and it uses up hearts. But if you climb on a wall and use the dagger, he'll still throw it across the screen while hanging on a wall, which is pretty cool. And you can actually do the same thing with axes as well. Alright, wish me luck, guys. So with Loop 2, there's going to be more enemies. Enemies are going to be faster. And there's going to be new enemies as well that I'll point out as we go through the game. New enemies that actually aren't in the Japanese version. So this is where the North American one really starts to kind of come into its own. If you try the second loop, there's more content that's not on the Japanese one, and it is more difficult. Let's actually switch over to Syfa and try to pick up whatever power-ups are up here. So I think to get through this loop successfully, we're gonna have to try to just be smart with our character usage. And are jumping in and attacking, apparently, because if we keep missing candles like this, or whiffing candles like that, we're not going to beat this loop. And the holy water up here, I think it's going to be the freeze with Syfa. Yeah, this is going to actually be, I think, really handy on the section coming up here. So we're going to blah, I can't even talk now. I've been talking for an hour straight. And I'm starting to slur my speech. So, I think this attack is actually going to be very handy for certain sections like this right here. Like these guys. And let's try to freeze these guys. And we're just going to freeze them like that. Now the reason I think this is going to come in handy is that there's going to be these bouncing skulls that replace the Medusa heads. And the freeze attack I think is going to be really handy against these guys because they're completely unpredictable. These guys right here. I'm just going to leave them frozen. So unlike the Medusa heads, which you can predict 100%, these guys are completely unpredictable. And they're the sole reason that Loop 2 is as hard as it is in Castlevania 3. So now you got bats. There weren't bats here before. I'm going to switch back over to Trevor, because there's going to be an axe right here. I'm going to go ahead and take the axe. No more bouncing skulls, so I don't think we need the freeze. Ooh, but we are going to need this, because I took a hit. I thought I could hit that hunchback on the way down, just jump and use the axe, but it didn't work out. And this over here is going to be a dagger. We're going to go ahead and actually pick that up with Syfa, because we're not going to need the freeze for a while. But what we'll do is actually try to defeat this boss with Syfa, because the flame should be pretty powerful. And what I think we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just take the same route that we took before, just to sort of improve our chances on getting through this, this second loop. So we're not going to go to the clock tower. I do actually have previous playthroughs and live stream archives where I show off every level in the game, basically. So just go to my main channel, search for Castlevania, and you will find the various Castlevania 3 videos that I've got on my channel. And I think there's actually another freeze attack coming up right here. So we're gonna go ahead and just switch off to it again, because more of those skeletons, as you can see, which they should have actually been a little bit earlier. I'm surprised they weren't. Oh, geez. One of the other big things about Loop 2 is that everything really dishes out the damage. So everything basically does maximum damage now. So over the course of a normal Castlevania 3 run, you know, enemies start to dish out more and more damage as the game goes on, and by the end of the game, everything takes, what, 4 or 5 blocks of health away. We're gonna actually switch over to Trevor, because he's got the axe. And going back to Syfa might actually help here, because there's some red skeletons. There's also a bunch of bone pillars. And if I can kill them in one hit with the freeze attack, then that would be good. Same with these hunchbacks. Might as well take advantage of it, because on the first loop, you don't have these abilities, because you don't have Syfa yet. And there's going to be some wall meat here again, just like before. We're going to go ahead and take advantage of that. And again, we're going to just stick to the same route. And trust me when I say you probably shouldn't play the a la carte route on the second route, because it is really, really difficult. It's definitely the hardest part in the game when it comes to looping the game. There's another flame. We're not going to use that. We're going to go ahead and just stick with Trevor with the axe, which will be good for the Cyclops. I'm going to try to fall down here and just use my freeze, just like so. It's okay if we take a hit or two, because remember, there is going to be wall meat on the boss fight. Oof. That's painful, though. Getting hit by those spiders like that. So, ooh, I forgot about the red skeleton there as well. Oh, that was close. Whew. That actually really put me on edge. I'm trying to think of what I'm going to do here. So I've got the axe. It's only a 1x axe, unfortunately. But sometimes this guy goes far enough out to where you can shoot an axe at him, like so. And if I just take my time like this, I think we'll be fine. Alright, good fight. And we still have Syfa's freeze attack. So I think that'll definitely come in handy as well. And I wonder if I'm going to be able to get a cross here. That would definitely help me out. Probably not, actually. I think the cross might be over to the left, and I don't even want to bother with the left-hand side here. If you go to the left-hand side, there's actually some mummies that appear. Roman numeral, that's good. And here we got these skulls again. Let me try to kill these guys. So just look at the patterns of these skulls. If you guys thought the Medusa heads were bad, you haven't seen anything yet. So, the great thing about the Medusa heads, and the thing that just kind of makes me chuckle when I hear people having a hard time with them, is the Medusa heads are completely predictable, 100%. The skulls in this are not, and it's just crazy difficult. I really don't want that dagger. Alright, so having the axe here is actually good, because I can whack that red skeleton up top. And for some reason, I keep pressing right, but I press it down so hard, I'm pressing down at the same time. And Trevor keeps walking downstairs when I'm just trying to walk left, so I'm not trying to walk downstairs. And that can be very, very frustrating. I'm going to try to use Syfa here. Just use the freeze. You can probably see how things are definitely a little more tense now. But using the freeze here will help. You know, because like these guys, for instance. Just freeze them, then whack them. Just give them a bop on the head and make them go away. I have to remember, are there skulls on this part? I don't remember. I guess we're gonna find out. No, there are bats, though. I mean, bats can be pretty bad, too. I'd say the bats are actually worse than the Medusa heads, because... Ooh, I lost my freeze. That's not good. The bats don't move at the same kind of arc that Medusa heads do, and so you can't just walk under bats. Like, you have to actually deal with them. Medusa heads, you can basically just pretend like they don't even exist and just walk under them. But you don't have that luxury with bats. I'm trying trying to think, should I use Syfa here or should I use Trevor? I don't know. Because I've got a 3-way axe. Let's go ahead and just use Syfa. Okay, that's good. Only one hit. Yeah, so one hit now, it takes away 5 blocks of health. Alright, a little bit of wall meat. I'm going to switch over to Trevor again, because he's got the axe, which will definitely help me, because there's 2 birds coming up here. Hell, maybe a 3rd on the second loop. Well, I guess we're going to see. Yeah, it's just 2. And we're going to go ahead and just stick it out with him for the rest of the level. Yeah, this is gonna be a pain. Okay, we got it. Good. I was actually trying to just whip the ghost there, but I don't know. I'm just not pressing the directions correctly, because I looked in the opposite direction and threw axes. Like, that's not what I was trying to do. We're gonna actually switch back over to Syfa. I think the axe will be a little more useful with against the Cyclops coming up here. There we go. And what I'll do is I'll try to use the flame right here. Just like so. Sometimes you just jump like this, and he'll go under you, both like forward and back, if you time it just right. So that's exactly what I did there. The Japanese version of the game, there's not a gap underneath that platform, and so the Cyclops actually doesn't have the capability to walk into the platform. That's one of the subtle changes they made in the North American version, so certain boss fights can be a little more challenging as a result. Whereas in the Japanese version, you can just sit on the right-hand side with no threat. You can't do that in the North American version. So I've got a triple axe, which is going to help me out later on. As you can see on Loop 2, you've got more enemies overall. Like right here, you've got more of these skeleton gargoyle knights. See, there's 2 now. A couple good swipes. They're really close to one another, so I'm able to just kill them both with one attack, which is nice. I'm just gonna take my time. And so with Syfa, we're gonna go ahead and pick up this freeze attack again. Just like before. And I think we're gonna go ahead and stick it out with this for now, because there's gonna be, I think, some of those upgraded knights. There they are. See, they've got shields now. They walk faster. And if you get close to them, they'll actually poke you with their spears. And let's make sure that we don't get a book this time by accident. Because that's what happened the first time around. Oh, that was close. That was really close. Oh, that's not good. Very, very close. Talk about getting sloppy. I want to say there might be the bouncing skeletons up here. So I'm probably not going to go for the extra life if that's the case. Okay, oops. I didn't want that stopwatch, but I'll go ahead and take the balls. Just gonna skip those candles. I just want to get to the checkpoint. Although I can take 2 hits. I have 6 blocks of health. Enemies do a maximum of 5, so that means I can take 2 hits. And just like before, we're basically just gonna do the exact same strategy with the balls here. But we might have to watch out for bats now, too. And I think we're gonna have just enough hearts to get through this section. I'm not too worried about the boss fight. It's just everything that's more difficult in Castlevania III on the second loop usually has to do with the levels themselves. Not so much the boss fights. Although some boss fights are more aggressive, for sure. But that's not usually the big defining factor in the second loop. In terms of difficulty. Sometimes these balls also act like they've got a mind of their own. So you just gotta be patient with it. Just let them fly off screen. You can't use another set until they've all flown off screen. There's gonna be axe armor right here. This is why the ball is also really good. Although I hope they do a couple more hits, because I got some, you know, birds to deal with as well. Yeah, I had a feeling that was a book. I don't want that. It's gonna be another axe armor right here. Ooh, got him. Good. Got the axe, I mean. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and grab this meat. I'm gonna go ahead and switch back over to Trevor, because he's got the triple axe. I only have 6 hearts, but at least I can use 6 axes. Got him. Whew, that was close. So bosses are kind of more difficult by default, simply because you can take less hits. So I had almost full health there, but 2 hits almost did me in. So, you know, boss fights can definitely be more intense because of that. Even if they aren't really that much more challenging. And by I mean challenging, like having extra attacks and things like that that weren't available in the first loop. Should really save my hearts, actually. There's really no reason to snipe that guy like that. Did not want the holy water, but I'll take it. Oh, that's interesting as well. Their projectiles aren't level with your whip now, so you can't whip their projectiles like you could previously. Pretty sure you could whip their projectiles previously. I think. Oh, I jumped way too early. That's not good. Getting through this part with just not being able to take 1 hit is bad. This is where having Grant is nice, because you could just skip this section completely. You just climb over this wall and walk over. So this is probably one of my least favorite sections in the game. But maybe I can snipe these enemies again, like we did earlier with Syfa. That was close. Nope, 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 nope! See, now what happens in this game, I'm gonna pause it for this, is if you're too close to a set of stairs and you try to just duck, the game thinks you want to go down the stairs, and even if you're like a good, I don't know, almost an entire block away from the stairs, you're gonna walk down the stairs instead of ducking, and that's just what happened there, is I just tried to walk down the stairs, or tried to duck, but the game made me walk downstairs instead. And this is going to be problematic, actually. This is it's tough to recover from this part with no power-ups. But we're going to have to try to do this with the freeze. Oh. Oh, that was crazy. That was really good. Oh, I got super lucky there. So this part's gonna be really tough too, without having, well, I don't know, it might be fine, but there's more mermen jump up now, and it's very difficult to deal with them. And they jump up at the most inopportune times now, too. Let's see if we can just jump over them. Oh, I killed myself. So when you freeze enemies with Syfa, you can't walk through them. They basically act as ice blocks. And that's exactly what happened. And we're gonna die here. Ooh, very, very lucky. Just gonna skip the hearts. This is gonna be a major pain without full health. I guess we'll try it with Syfa this time, and then if it doesn't work, I'll switch over to Trevor. Out of hearts. So that the boss just comes out to one of these sides. Wow. Very, very, very lucky. Whew. We're still making progress. You can see where the second loop starts to get really tense compared to the first loop. I mean, that last stretch with all those mermen especially, is just really troublesome. Alright, full whip again. Roman numeral, that's good. Maybe I can keep the holy water for the whole level. It would definitely be helpful. And not get the axe. Okay, good section. Always feels good when you get through these sections without taking any damage. So I was getting a little fancy there, trying to drop some holy water between the fireballs, but that was a bad idea. Is there anything? No, that's right, the wall meat is on the left-hand side, I always forget. Alright, good stuff. Alright, so I took some hits, but I got my health back, that's all that matters. Okay, this is the tight jump again that I mentioned earlier. Got it, first try. Look at how tight that jump is, it's ridiculous. Now having the freeze with Syfa would be really handy right here, but I don't have it unfortunately. We're gonna go ahead and... I bet you there's gonna be the skeletons here. So one strategy to deal with the skeletons is to have the stopwatch. Okay, no skeletons. I'm surprised, actually. I'm actually really surprised. Because there's a similar section on Dracula's castle. You know, on Dracula's level, you go down like this, but there's skeletons instead of Medusa heads. And I'm surprised they didn't add skeletons to that part. I'm glad they didn't. That means that this level isn't too bad on the second loop. It's a lot like the first one, just, you know, faster respawning red skeletons and things like that. Alright, good deal. And we're gonna do this just like before, just take it easy. We've got plenty of time on the clock. My hands are actually getting really sweaty too. Like, I know this isn't that stressful, but it is more tense, you know? Especially, like, at this point, I've been playing for 90 minutes straight, while talking and playing at the same time. It's definitely mentally draining. Very nice. That was better than the first time. Alright, so this takes us back to Death's stage again, and there's a couple of things I wanted to point out here on this level. There's a new enemy type introduced, which is basically an upgraded version of the zombies that take more hits to kill, and you get 0 points for them, which is really interesting. So these red zombies, they take a ton of hits now. And I lost my triple holy water, but I'm gonna go ahead and just stick with the stopwatch. Just to get past this first section. And those zombies are not in the Japanese version of the game. It's one of the new things for the North American version. Now I need to get that holy water though if I'm going to want to have a chance at death. Otherwise we're going to end up dying at death like we did earlier. There's the axe. And wall meat right here. Alright, we're doing okay so far. Let's not get wrecked by those, oh my god, why did I do that? Why did I do that? I was gonna say, let's not get wrecked by those green blobs again. Bam, just like that. They're really easy to deal with. I don't know why I had such a hard time on the first loop. This isn't good. We've already taken one hit. There we go, there's our holy water. And let's see if we can keep it and get some Roman numerals. And with Syfa, what do we have? I think we've got the red... Oh, we've got the balls already. Okay. That's good. You know, I just realized what I said earlier about candles dropping big hearts if you already have the weapon that they normally drop. That doesn't happen in this game. It's only the first Castlevania, apparently. Or maybe Castlevania IV as well. But yeah, in Castlevania 1, if you attack a candle that drops, say, a holy water, but you've already got holy water, it'll drop a big heart. But in this one, it seems to only drop a small heart. That's interesting. Alright, let's try this again. Very good. Very, very good. That's the kind of thing you need to do. And now we can just use holy water on this part. And my monitor totally just cut out right as I killed Death. And it's doing it again, it just cut out again a second time. Alright, well that was a pretty good level overall. I'm pretty happy with that, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be some skeletons here now, so let's switch over. I feel like having Syfa's projectiles will be helpful, and her faster attack will be helpful as well. This game is trolling me now. So I wanted the homing balls, but they dropped a book and I ran right into it. Okay, no skeletons, I'm surprised, but there will be the skeletons later on. The bouncing skulls. Okay, we're gonna switch back over to Trevor. Because we don't really have much of a need for holy water for the rest of the level. So we're gonna switch back over to the axe. Just like before. Oh, that's not good. Took a hit accidentally. Just gotta play it safe, man. Play it safe. Oh, and I messed up again. Took a second hit. Look at how fast these guys are shooting out. They're shooting out at a much more rapid rate than before. Just need to get up here so I can get that checkpoint. That's all I care about. I'm gonna just go ahead and tank. And this is an axe armor. We're just gonna play it safe and snipe him from down below. Actually, no, we're not. I'm gonna do what I talked about earlier. Just hold down the B button. So you want to be low enough to where you don't get hit by his high axe. So he basically throws axes high and low. You want to be low enough on the stairs to where if he throws a high axe, he won't hit you. But close enough to where you can still actually hit him, obviously. Okay, as long as we can get up to the top, we might be golden. Try to take these guys out from a distance as well. Remember, there's another extra life opportunity, too. I'd really like that Roman numeral, but it's not gonna happen. Alright, here's our extra life. Bam, we're up to 8 lives. That's good. Very, very good. There's gonna be another guy up here. Just skipping the hearts. I don't even really care right now. I just want my checkpoint, that's all. Checkpoint and a little bit of extra health. Because remember, there's gonna be some wall meat up top. That was close. Got it, though. And just skip this guy. That little ghost that's following me, just skip it. Okay, so I'm gonna need to get a little bit of hearts, though, if I'm gonna get past this section. Because I'm gonna need those hearts for this boss fight, remember. But we've also got dancing skeletons coming up. The bouncing skulls, I should say. Okay, I got the stopwatch. I was not intending on getting that. Go ahead and switch over to Syfa. And here is the blue homing balls. That's exactly what we need. We got 12 hearts. Can we do it in 12 or 13 hearts? I don't know. I guess we're gonna find out. Assuming we actually get to the boss. Actually, we are gonna get a few more hearts. We need to make sure we don't get hit here. Alright, good stuff. Alright. If you get far enough in, those guys will just go away. They'll despawn. Alright, we'll just jump up here just like before. Same thing. Very good, very good. This is looking pretty good, actually. You can see how I'm just using a lot of the same strategies. If you want to beat the second loop of Castlevania 3, that's really the way to do it, is find a route you're comfortable with and stick with it. And, you know, that's my advice for anyone having problems with this game in general. Because Castlevania 3 can be a difficult game to learn. It can be a very, very difficult game to learn. And beat for the first time. So this is what I was talking about. Basically, the Medusa heads turn into these flying skeletons. And they make this part much, much more difficult. If you wanted to, you can try to get the stopwatch here. That's one strategy. But then you're out of hearts on this next section. What do you do now? That's the only problem. We just skip it? We can't. Crap, we're dead. Now if I didn't get hit by that first bone pillar, we would have been fine, actually. We would have been perfectly fine, because I could have just damage boosted off the second bone pillar on the left, and then that would have just bounced us right into the checkpoint. Alright, so we're just gonna skip that part, because of that red skeleton. And we'll just do it, kind of try to do it the same way again. This might take us many tries, and if I have to continue, that's okay. I mean, we've made it to the end, so we're pretty much gonna beat this game on the second loop. It's just a matter of time. As you can see, no rhythm or rhyme to these guys. That's what's tough about it. It's very, very tough. Very tense as well. Okay. Alright, good play. I just used my stopwatch one after another. And I sat on the last couple of pixels that bone pillar was sitting on. That's what you have to do. And we're just going to use the stopwatch again. Get the freeze. Get the life extend. Use the freeze. Bye-bye, spider. And hopefully bye-bye red skeleton here. And we're going to try to freeze these guys as well. I just need to get up top. Because there's an axe. I need that axe. Alright, so switch over to Trevor. And then we'll switch back to Syfa. And switch back to Syfa, like I said. And the reason I use Syfa up here again is because her attack is much faster, so it's a lot easier to deal with these bats. There's more bats too. I mean, sometimes you can get trolled on this section too and just run right into a bat. Okay, so let's switch over to Trevor. We're gonna need to switch back into Syfa too to get the flame. Alright, let's switch over. So we've only got about, I'm gonna say 2 hits that we can take, and that's it. Alright, so we're gonna try to do it just like we did last time. Alright, good stuff. That was good. And switch over with the axe again, just like the first loop. This second run is having a lot of similarities to the first run, aside from that death fight. Just gonna take our time. And there we go. Wow. So we just beat Loop 2 of Castlevania III in a Let's Play. That is not something I was ever I can't even talk. It's not something I was ever anticipating on doing, but Oh man, that's a good feeling. Whew. Almost 2 hours long, too, at that. So, we'll let the ending roll out again. Unfortunately, there is no third loop. It'll take you back and start a fresh loop, too, but it doesn't increase the difficulty at all. So, yeah, unfortunately, no loop 3. That would be really cool if there was. But, loop 2 is just really, really challenging as is. And, as you guys saw, there's just more enemies at certain parts. You took way more damage when you took hits. And then those bouncing skeleton skulls were very, very frustrating to deal with. But for those of you guys having problems with Castlevania 3 in general, I highly recommend just figuring out a route that best suits you, figuring out a side partner character that best suits you, and then just practicing that same route over and over and over again until you get good enough to succeed at it. And for the second loop, I recommend doing the same thing. I've experimented a lot with every route in the game on loop 2, and you know, just for the sake of consistency, I was a lot more comfortable just doing the exact same route again, you know, on loop 2 for this playthrough. And I think it paid off, you know, since I had already run through all those courses once. You know, it was all fresh in my mind. So, and it's kind of the trick to Castlevania 3 is just getting comfortable with the specific route and just sticking with it until you beat it, and then you can, you know, mix things up from there, basically. I think Syfa is probably the easiest route. Not really because the levels are actually easier, it's just that Syfa is very powerful, and you've got some abilities of hers, like freezing enemies, which is very, very handy. And you can really take advantage of that. You can kill red skeletons with her freeze, you can kill the axe armor knights in one hit. The bouncing skeletons on loop 2, you know, sometimes they'll run into the freeze attack, and it's easy to catch them and just skip them that way. But if you pick other characters like Grant or Alucard, and you don't go the Syfa route, the levels I wouldn't really say are that much more difficult. There are a couple of sections that are probably more difficult, like there's that triple boss rush you have to fight on Alucard's route, and that's really, really challenging on loop 2 in particular. And the lead up to that can be tough, especially on loop 2. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this Let's Play. I am pretty much out of breath and out of words to say, so I'm going to go ahead and just leave you guys with that. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be back with some more Let's Plays sometime soon, as usual. If you guys are brand new to this channel, if you managed to stick around to the very end, thank you, and consider subscribing. I've got a ton of Let's Plays on this channel, and many, many more to come. For those of you guys already subbed, thank you as usual for your continued support. Thank you to my awesome Patreon backers and those live stream super chatters I mentioned at the very beginning of the video as well. So thank you guys for your continued support. And to anyone that continues to watch my videos, thank you. I hope you guys continue to enjoy them. So I'll see you guys on the next video, and until then, take it easy.